If you're ready for 2025, hit that subscribe button. I think I can speak on behalf of all Raiders fans here. I'm ready for this year to be over with. And if you want to join us for the final live show of 2024, make sure you tune in. Make sure you pull up. It's going to be going down today, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Chugs and I, we're going to be getting wild. I believe Brock Bowers is going to be the greatest tight end to ever play in the National Football League. If you believe at least that there is a chance that this guy right here could be the GOAT, I want you to click that like button, because coming up here on today's show, I think by the time you're done watching this, you're going to go, holy shit, Mitch. You might have been right. Brock Bowers might be the greatest tight end of all time. I know people laughed at me when I said that Bowers could be the greatest tight end in the NFL in his very first year. Maybe people will pay a little bit more attention after they watch this show. I'll say this, though. If you want to have the greatest tight end of all time, then you need to get started with our sponsor here, Panda Subs. Use code Raiders for 20% off at pandasubs.com. If you're trying to be the best version of you in 2025, if you're going to get off your ass and you're going to go work out, you might as well get the most out of that workout. So turn that bum into a tight end thanks to our sponsor here, Panda Subs. Let's go to the very first reason. He is already having a record-breaking rookie year. I'm actually a little bit disappointed that he's not in the running for offensive rookie of the year. And I know Jaden Daniels has been on an absolute tear. I'll tell you this, Brock Bowers deserves it more than Bo Nix. It's kind of hard to argue with a lot of the things that Jaden is doing at the quarterback position. But the numbers that Brock Bowers is putting up, it's a shame that this team is 4-12, because I think a lot more people would be paying attention to how amazing of a season this guy has had and how bad of a season the Raiders have had. I mean, look at the numbers. Look at the record-breaking performance that he has had this season. NFL rookie tight end receptions. He's got 108. The old record set by Sam Laporta in 86. With only 86, it's not even close. NFL rookie receptions. Well, he beat Puca Nacua's reception record. He's a wide receiver. The rookie tight end receiving yards. That thing was held all the way back since 1961. Brock Bowers beat it. Raiders single-season reception record. Took that one down, held by Darren Waller. Rookie receiving yards record for the Raiders. Took that one down, held by Amari Cooper. My bottom line is this. I know a lot of people were a little bit upset when the Raiders took Bowers. Last year, best player available. I don't think anybody's upset anymore. The way that we talk about Max Crosby and building around him on the defensive side of the football, I think it's the way that people got to start talking about Bowers, trying to build around him on the offensive side of the football. So whether you like me, whether you love Chugs, whether you want 2025 here or not, I think we can all show number 89 a little bit of love. Spam it down below. Let's go to the next reason here why I think Bowers could be the GOAT. And I know a lot of people are going to go, Mitch, it's only 1 year in the NFL. Mitch, it's only 1 year you're talking about. I'm not talking about only 1 year. When you go back and look at his production at Georgia and the way that people talked about him coming out of high school, you want to look at one of the best college football programs for 3 years, and he might have been the best player on that team. I know Bowers looks like an agent from State Farm. I know Bowers looks like he might get his hair cut at the same place Mark Davis does. But when you look at Bowers on the field, this guy is a GOAT. But you know what? He's not out there going, bah, bah. Why? He's a silent assassin killer, and he's showing it up every single week, and that's what he did at Georgia. I mean, the moment he stepped on the field as a freshman, you were like, holy shit, this kid's a difference maker. And then you saw him in 2022. 2023, he got banged up there a little bit. He played in only 10 games, but in a 40-game sample size at Georgia, when you look at everything that he did for that football team, when you look at everything he did on and off the field, there's a reason why Bowers is getting me to say he might end up being the greatest tight end of all time. And I know it's only 1 year, and I know it's a smallish sample size in college. But when you compare those two, and then you look at some of the numbers that I'm going to have coming up here on today's show, I'm telling you, you're going to go, this guy might be the GOAT. Let's go to the next reason here of why I think it could actually happen. He is going to get better. They usually say for NFL tight ends it takes a year or two, maybe 3, to kind of get the wheels going, because you got to learn different blocking schemes. You got to learn that it's a lot different playing tight end in the NFL than playing tight end in college. Well, guess what? When you're just as physically gifted, when you're as smart, when you are as just good as what Brock Bowers is, sometimes you don't need a year. Sometimes you could be thrown into an absolutely horrific situation and still dominate because that's just how good you are. You can line him up at any position on the field, and quite frankly, I think Bowers is going to be able to get the job done. The other reason here of why I think he's going to get better is Bowers, when you listen to him talk, when you hear coaches talk about him, when you just sit down and watch his game, he doesn't look like someone that's ever going to get complacent. He gives me that Max Crosby type of mentality where you're like, all right, I might be down to a half a leg, but I'm still better than any other mother effer you got out there on a half a leg. Brock Bowers is a dog, and for that reason, I think he's going to get better and better. I don't know if his numbers are going to be better and better and better every single year. I hope so. I'll tell you that, especially in the win department, but I'll definitely say he is going to get better. And I think his quarterback play is going to get better as well. So since I think he's going to get better, let's just look at some of the great rookie tight end stat numbers. And I went out and I looked at some different articles of just who are the greatest tight ends of all time. I know some people are going to be like, Mitch, where's Dave Casper? I hear you loud and clear. But if you were to ask just the majority of people, I think a lot of people are going to throw Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce in that. These are the 4 best tight ends to ever play the game. Look at what they did as a rookie. Now look at what Brock Bowers is doing as a rookie, and he still has 1 extra game. And I know some people are going to go, it's a different era. Oh, Mitch, they get extra games now. Okay. Brock Bowers is also averaging the most receiving yards of all time in a single season by a rookie. Like, the numbers he's putting up right now are just staggering good. And the fact that he's doing it as a rookie on this Raiders team, with all the issues that this team has had on the offensive side of the football, can we not realize how truly special the season Brock Bowers is having? I think we can. Also, I got to tell you something special here, and it's from our sponsor, Panda Frickin' Sups, man. They've been hooking this team up here for the Raiders Report and Chat Sports, I'm going to say now for a little over 4 years. And if you are somebody where you're like, you know what, Mitch, I partied a lot with you in 2024. I put on a few LBs, drinking some beers. Hey, man, I totally get it. But if you're trying to be healthier in the new year and you need something to maybe kick a little bit of that sweet craving, the protein from Panda Sups is where it is at. 30 grams of protein. You're looking at 140, 150 calories per scoop. I think it's a great meal replacement, personally, for me, if I'm just hanging around at Chat Sports and I see a few other people, they're getting a little hungry and they want some food. Well, I also get hungry, but I don't get lunch here, so I usually get a protein shake. Right now, I've been crushing the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. The closer and closer it gets to my actual wedding day, so I'm talking April, May, June, is when I'm going to start moving to the fruity cereal, where I'm going to go to the mint chip. The different protein flavors that Panda has, I'm telling you, it's going to be a protein shake that you look forward to every single day, and that's why you're going to get in better shape. PandaSups.com, code Raiders for 20% off. That link's down in the comments. It's down in the description of today's show. Here's my last and final reason of why I think Bowers could be the GOAT. The Raiders will get better. And some of you might go, well, are you sure? I know that the Raiders just won back-to-back games. And I know that this season now, some people are feeling pretty good because it's nice to win. But when you really look at the whole picture of how bad this year is, I really don't think that we're going to have another season that was as bad as this season on the offensive side of the football. Maybe we're bad on defense, but to me, I think that this could be Brock Bowers' worst season ever on offense from a offensive coordinator standpoint, a quarterback standpoint, and overall offensive standpoint. I really, truly believe that the Raiders are going to get better. And if the Raiders are going to get better, that means more red zone opportunities, more opportunities for Brock Bowers to get one-on-one, more opportunities overall for Bowers to finally show people that he deserves to be in that conversation. Because I'll tell you this, from a numbers point, if Brock Bowers stays healthy, he's going to finish in the top 5 of receptions, receiving yards. He's going to all those numbers. Receiving touchdowns needs to get, a little bit better, no doubt about it, simply because he needs to have a better quarterback. But the other thing that is going to be talked about for Brock Bowers' success in terms of being the GOAT is going to be postseason success. If Bowers is on a team like the Raiders every year and he puts up these numbers, he's not going to have that conversation about him because he's not going to have the Super Bowl rings. He's not going to have a lot of that. So the Raiders need to get better for him to be in that conversation. But if you want to just talk about records when it's all said and done, Bowers' name is going to be up there. So when you see the NFL tight end records for most receptions all time, which is done by Tony Gonzalez, most receiving yards all time by a tight end, also held by Tony Gonzalez, most receiving touchdowns all time, held by Antonio Gates with 116. When you then take into account how many years it's going to take for Brock Bowers to get to those numbers, he needs to play a lot of games. To me, these are the top 10 best tight ends to ever play football. And the number that you see in parentheses is how many games that they have played. So if you're a math person, let's just say hypothetically speaking, if you were to take all those numbers and you were to add up all the numbers that you see on screen, that is an average of 191 games played, okay? 191 games played comes out to somewhere about 12 seasons of football. For Brock Bowers, the numbers that he's putting up, when you add into the account of, okay, I can't predict if he's going to play 270 games. I don't know, maybe he only plays like 143 like Rob Gronkowski did. So all I'm doing is I'm trying to get the middle, and I'm trying to look at the average. So what I did is I took the average of 191 games, and I then put that to what Brock Bowers has done this season as a rookie. If I'm going to say that he's going to be the GOAT, you got to do some projecting. And I know these numbers that you're going to see are kind of laughable, but let's just say he plays that exact average of 191 games, 12 seasons worth. Based on what he did as a rookie, he's going to put up 1,289 receptions, about 13,000 yards, and 48 touchdowns. Those numbers there do not make him the greatest all time. But I am a believer that he is going to end up playing for a lot longer than just those 191 games. So with that being said, I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to say yes because to me, he has that Max Crosby mentality. He's got that mentality of I'm never going to be complacent. And he's going to go down in the history books as one of the greatest tight ends of all time. So yes, I am saying that he's going to end up playing more than 12 seasons. And I think he's going to end up getting more yards and more stats than everything you just saw. But the reason why that I'm so confident on it is because, for one, he is only 22 years old, right? Like, we're not looking at one of these older rookies. Dude's only 22. He is legally only allowed to have a beer for 1 year, unless he lives in Germany, which you're allowed to have a beer at 16. And I believe that you could see him play all the way up until his mid to late 30s. So, like, that is a minimum to me of 13 to 14 seasons. Like, when you look at Tony Gonzalez, he played till he's 37. Travis Kelce right now is 35. Now, maybe if Brock Bowers start dating a billionaire, maybe he doesn't play all along. But if Bowers wants to, and how good he is, he could play for 15, 16 seasons. And if he plays for 15-plus seasons, I'm telling you, he is going to break every single record there is for a tight end, and he's going to go down in the history books as the GOAT at the tight end position.